do you select the best project control software for your organization? You may have been in a situation that you were using an old tool or old software and you want to upgrade to a new one and you're shopping around to find the best tool. How you can do that? Or you may have been working on developing some new processes and procedures for project controls and you want a new upgraded tool to support that vision. But how? Hello everyone, I am Shoreh Gurbani. I'm the founder and director of Project Control Academy, the leading provider of project control training, where we help you master your knowledge and skills in project control so you become the hero of your projects. In today's training, I will cover a technique that I have personally used when selecting a software for the organization that I was working for. And I will walk you over the technique. It's a very simple technique, but it helps you with the decision making and it helps you with figuring out how you can choose the best solution, the best project control software out there for your organization. So I hope by the end of the video you have great idea on what to look for and how you can follow this process. But before diving into the subject of today's training, I would like to take a moment and thank our sponsor for today's session, our gold sponsor, Cleopatra Enterprise. Cleopatra is the gold sponsor of Project Control Academy, and what we really like about Cleopatra is the solution that they provide to project controls. They're an integrated cost management solution for project controls and cost engineer professionals out there, and the good thing about that is this tool is developed by cost engineers for cost engineers. So they are not just software developers out there that don't know the ins and outs of cost management. They're already the practitioners of cost management, and that's how they came up with a tool to help them do their job better. So that's really a nice tool for having an integrated cost management. And what's really nice about this tool is the coverage of the full project control life cycle. It starts with cost estimating and then it goes to cost budgeting with a click of a button. You know, they develop the estimate in the tool, and with a click of a button you will have your budgeted cost. You can also integrate the tool with your schedule and also benchmarking. Benchmarking is another good feature that Cleopatra offers, that you can compare the results of this project with other projects that you have done, do trend analysis and all other neat features. Another thing I really like about Cleopatra is their visual, graphical tools and reporting and online dashboard that they have. So it's really a very neat tool. I'm not promoting something until I believe it's a very good solution out there, and Cleopatra is one of those that we highly recommend. So make sure that you check the link either on this video or on the show note if you're interested in exploring more about Cleopatra and whether or not it's a good solution for your organization. Now, going back to the training and the objective that we have for you today, I would like to walk you over the 7-step process in selecting the best project control software for your organization. And these are the 7-step process that I have followed in the projects I was involved in and where we were tasked to select a software. So, and that's what I recommend you to do. It's just kind of a very systematic approach on how to select the best provider out there, because as you know, especially in today's market, we are blessed with having a lot of great solutions out there. There are a lot of great tool providers that we didn't have a long time ago, but now there are a lot of solutions, a lot of software providers that you can tap into and assess whether they are a good solution for your organization and the projects that you are managing for or not. But the question is how we can do that, how we can accelerate the decision making process and find the best features that we are looking for in the software and how we can choose the best one that support what we are looking for. So the 7-step process, the first step that I want you to consider, and that's usually the step that is least kind of recognized or followed, is figuring out your why. Know your why. Why you need a new solution, why you need to look for a software. That's kind of a very simple question, but often what I have found is organizations are looking for a solution without knowing what the problem is, what the problem they are trying to solve, that they are looking for a tool or a software for that. So that's the first thing you need to consider. Know your why, what the problem you are facing, and why the tool is going to be a solution or one of the solutions that you are considering. An example for that would be, let's say that your team are putting a lot of time and energy in collecting the data and doing reporting, that they don't have enough time to do analysis. So you figure out that's the problem that you're facing right now with either the existing tools that you have or not having any tool at all. And you want to facilitate that, and you want to make sure that your team is doing more of analysis and less of that data entry or less of those reporting, and you want to automate that. So probably that would be one of the reasons that you want to look for a new tool. But not knowing the problem, not knowing your why, and trying to find solutions, then you might not find the right solution for your problem. And another thing I would like to address here is, one of the things that many people might think, if they are having a trouble project or something that, is not working well, they think by investing in a new tool, they can resolve some of the issues that they are facing in their organization or in the projects they are managing. But a warning from me, the tool is great, it helps you facilitate your work and it accelerates the process. But if you have wrong systems, if you don't have a good culture supporting that, don't expect the tool to make miracles for you. If you are experiencing cost overrun and schedule slippages, yes, the tool helps you, but it's not everything. You have to revisit your people, how they are doing their job, your processes and procedures, and a lot of other things that you need to first assess before having everything as a solution to a tool. So tool cannot make miracles for you. Have that in mind. That's why it's very important to know your why and what the exact problem you are facing and why you're looking for a tool as a solution. So that's the first step you need to figure out. Once you figure out your why, the next step is asking your team what they want out of the tool. Have a brainstorming session with your team and ask them, okay, now what do you want out of the tool? What outcomes you are looking for in a new tool that we can bring to the organization and to implement that in our projects? Again, one of the things that many people make the mistake of, when it comes to a tool or software, they look at how fancy it is, or whether this company or that company are using it, or is it user-friendly or not, but they don't consider the outcome. I want you to focus on the outcome. What outcome are you looking for out of a tool, more than the feature or user-friendly or the things that you can find in pretty much most of the tools. But what are the outcomes that you want to look for, something that can help you resolve the problems that you have? For example, going back to the example I brought earlier in regards to working on an organization that takes a lot of time for reporting and not having enough time for analysis, then one of the things that your team might need would be having a tool that can help you integrate with other systems that you already have in the organization. So it kind of reduces the manual data entry. So something that you can integrate easily with other tools, so it can pull the data from other systems, and has flexible reporting and things like that, so that you can make sure that you don't spend too much time on reporting. So in that case, integration and flexible reporting would be two of the major things that your team is looking for out of the tool. So have that in mind. So make sure that you have that team discussion and figure out what outcomes you want out of your tool. The third step is, once you know what you need and asking your team about that, the third step is making a list of the features that you want to have out of the tool. And because we have a lot of tool providers and a lot of great tools out there, you know, if you want to go based on one tool might look very shiny object, might have a lot of great features that you want, but it might not have other important ones that you are looking for. While the other tool might have those features that you don't need, but has other great features. So sometimes it's really hard to make a decision when you want just to look at one tool alone and not having the exact clarity on what features you are looking for. So make sure that, again, brainstorm with your team and list out the features, the outcomes that you want to have out of the tool. Let's say you want to implement earned value management in your project. So you want to look for a tool that also has earned value management capabilities, right? Or you want to have, as I said in the example I brought earlier, reporting is an issue. You want to have flexible reporting so that you can report whatever the client wants. You can filter it based on the client requirements, internal requirements, and accelerate the reporting process. So my question to you is, what are the features you are looking for out of a tool so that you can solve the issues that you're facing in your projects? Again, make it outcome oriented and list all the features you are considering in the tool. Another step after figuring out what you need and what features you are looking for is the list. Now, what tool providers are available out there? What options do you have, right? So you need to look for project control tool providers, and I will make sure that I do a research for you and develop that list so that you have it available. Make sure that you check the show notes and check out if that resource is available. If not, do your own research and make sure that you have a complete list of different providers that you can consider, and what are the features that each software they are providing and whether or not they're matching with what you're looking for. But to do that, first you need a list. Who are the providers? What are the tools out there that you can consider and assess? Once you have that, the next step, the fifth step, is create a tool assessment metric. I haven't seen many people does that because they all have everything in their mind, and sometimes it might be so complex to make a right decision, especially with different features that you're looking for in a tool and different tools that are available out there in the market. But developing a tool assessment metrics really helps you in your decision-making process. Let me show you what that tool is so that you better understand what I mean here. So that's kind of a tool assessment metrics that whenever I have a hard time making a decision, I use this method, and I have used that for kind of making decisions for the tool provider, but it can be used for any hard decisions that you want to make. So you basically list all the criteria that you're looking for. So first of all, as I said, we needed to know the why and what we are looking for. So you list what you are looking for here. For example, going back to the example that we brought earlier, for example, we want a tool that speeds the report generation and allows us to spend more time in analysis. That's one of the main things that you want out of the tool. Another example would be you want a tool that bridges the gap between the systems that you already have in the organization and create an integration between different systems that you have. So these can be kind of an example of what you want. And once you have that, another thing that is the importance factor, you can rate that in terms of the importance, how important that criteria is for you that you're looking for in a tool. Let's say the first one is very important. important. From 0 to 10, that's 10. You really need that in a tool that you're shopping around. That will solve your problems. And the next one would be a good to have, or really you need that too, but it's not that essential. So probably 8. So again, you figure that rating with your team, and again, it can be just one. If everything is the same importance for you, then you probably don't need the importance factor, but if you want to have it the weighted factor, that's how it's going to work. And then what features you are looking for. So for example, you want flexible data setup and summarization, you want flexible reporting and real-time dashboard, something that allows the integration with the scheduling software, and the list goes on. And again, that's the list that you will develop with your team based on the outcome that you want out of the software. So once you do that, again, come with the importance factor or the rating that you want for each of those criteria that you are looking for. So with that, you have already developed a assessment metrics. It's kind of a blank sheet. You have already come up with the software providers and you have listed them out. You might have only 2 or 3 options, or might have 5 or more. So depending on how many tools you want to assess, so you will have them listed up there. And now you're ready to go to the next step. And the next step is request a free trial or demo, because you want to assess how each tool rates against the criteria you're looking for. And the good thing is nowadays almost all tool providers are providing either a free training or a free trial or free demo that you can request, and you can ask as many questions as you want during those sessions, or you can test it out during those trial period. And once you have that clear list of features you're looking for, then once you go through that trial period or that demo, you can easily assess each criteria for each tool and rate that accordingly. So once you have that, and once you go through the trial for each tool, then you assess and rate each software and then make your final decision. So it's going to be something like that. You start rating each software against the criteria that you have, and the one that has the highest score gets the winning score. It's going to be picked by you. But this way it's going to be very systematic. It doesn't leave any room for errors, and because you are going to make a big investment for your organization, so that's why I recommend following this approach and making sure that you have considered all of the problems that you're already facing, the solution you are looking for, the features you are looking for, and have a very clear assessment on whether or not the softwares that you're considering satisfy those criteria that you are considering for your organization. Because once you implement a software, you are introducing a lot of change to your team and to your organization. So at the beginning, it's going to be a lot of investment in terms of their time, in terms of the money that you're going to spend in training and everything. So that's why following this process will help you have a wise decision in choosing the right tool for your organization. So I hope this training added value to you, and I hope you follow this process next time that you're tasked to select a tool for your organization. Now you might question, okay, that's great, that's a good strategy, but I'm more interested in knowing about the features. Tell me about the features that I need to look for in a tool when I'm looking for a project control tool. What features do you recommend in a tool? That's a very good question, and the good news is I'm going to cover that in full detail in the next episode. In the next episode, I'm going to show you the recommended features that you need to look for when you're shopping around for a project control software or an integrated cost management software, or whatever tool you want to name it. So what features you want to look for so that it fulfills the requirements that you're looking for in your organization. So that's the subject of the next training. Please stay tuned for that. And with this, I hope again this training provided you value. I want you to share on the comment box down below on your strategy in choosing the best project controls tool for your organization. If you have ever been involved in selecting a tool, please comment down below and let me know. I'm curious to know what approach you have been using in selecting a a tool for your organization or a software. So don't forget, comment down below. And if you have any comments or questions about this episode, I will be happy to read those and answer those comments or questions. So please make sure that you leave your comments down below, or any question that you might have. I will personally respond to each one of them. And finally, my last request is, if you like this episode, please make sure that you like it and share it with your connections. You know, it's a lot of time and energy that we need to spare to put together trainings like this for free for you. So just a little like or share means a lot to us, and it helps us to do more of these free trainings for you. So please share it and spread the word about it if you found it valuable. So with that, I wish you all the best, and until the next time that I see you, do your best in everything that you do and make a difference in your projects.